Mr. Bankowski. Here. Mr. Buchanan. Here. Mr. DeJoy. Here. Mrs. Gustafson. Here. Mr. Harmon.
Here.
Mr. Heiser.
Here.
Mr. Johnson is absent. Mr. Larson.
Here.
Miss Lewis.
Here.
Mr. Merritt is absent. Mr. Nelson.
Here.
Mr. Pavlock.
Here.
Mr. Penhollow.
Here.
Mr. Proctor.
Here.
Mr. Scudder.
Over here.
Miss Vanstrom.
Here.
Mr. Whitney.
Here.
Chairman Shagnon.
Here.
There are 17 members present and 2 members absent. There is quorum.
Thank you. And at this time, we will have the prayer and pledge of allegiance by Legislator Penhollow.
God of grace, we open our hearts, minds, and souls to worship you. Thank you that today we dwell in your kingdom and live in your presence. Thank you that as we gather together today in this special institution, the Robert H. Jackson Center, to celebrate 25 years in operation in recognition of one of our very own, Robert H. Jackson, of whom created an enduring legacy of achievement in shaping the foundation of international law and our modern criminal justice system. Thank you to those local visionaries, and I have seen one of them here this evening, who envisioned the everlasting impact by creating the Center of Education. Come be with us, inspire us, and lead us in our time together. We are here to serve others in this great county of Chautauqua. We ask you to bless us, our country, our men and women who protect our freedom, all in the beauty and name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today, we honor to pause the life and legacy of Anthony Tony Dulce, a devoted public servant, educator, mentor, and lifelong resident of Jamestown. For more than 30 years, Tony faithfully served the residents of Ward 2 in the city of Jamestown on city council, including as council president. Throughout his decades of service, he was known for his integrity, thoughtful leadership, and unwavering commitment to doing what he believed was best for the community. He earned the respect of colleagues on both sides of the aisle through his ability to work collaboratively and put the needs of the city of Jamestown first. Beyond public service, Tony dedicated more than 35 years to Jamestown High School as a government and social studies teacher, coach, and advisor. He was my husband's Little League coach. Generations of students benefited from his guidance, encouragement, and passion for education. He was deeply involved in countless community organizations, his church, the YMCA, the Board of Public Utilities, and many other causes that strengthened the fabric of this great city. Those who knew Tony remembered not only his vast knowledge and leadership, but his kindness, his humility, sense of humor, and genuine care for others. He was often described as Mr. Jamestown because of his lifelong dedication to the people and institutions that make the community of Jamestown special. As we reflect on Tony's extraordinary life and service, we extend our heartfelt condolences to his wife, Anne, his children, Amelia and Christian, all who loved him. His legacy will continue to inspire future generations, and impact on Jamestown will be felt for many years to come. At this time, I ask that we observe a moment of silence in memory of Councilman Anthony Tony Dulce, honoring his service, dedication, and the lasting difference that he made to so many lives. Thank you.
Thank you. And next on our agenda, we have the approval of the minutes of the June 24th, 2026 meeting of the legislature. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by legislator Bankowski to approve the minutes as presented. And a second by legislator Gustafson. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. That brings us to our first privilege of the floor. Members of the public may comment on any subject relating to any local law, resolution, or motion appearing on tonight's agenda. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes, and comments representing a group shall be limited to 5 minutes. Anyone wishing to address the first privilege of the floor, we have a microphone down front. And please introduce yourself for the record.
I'm just wondering, I don't see that on the agenda, the motion for the making job creation. Because I don't really see that on the agenda.
That is on the agenda.
Oh, it is.
Yes, it is. Okay. Please. Okay.
Good evening, Anthony Toda. My address is 144 Clifton Avenue, Jamestown, New York. I'm making my comments and opinions based on a recent newspaper report and my own experiences. Legislature Fred Larson's issue of declaring job creation as a #1 economic priority is a hollow and useless declaration for the following reasons. No one politician is going to wave a verbal declaration like a magic wand to either rectify or address private sector economic issues that lead to adding or subtracting jobs in any economy. And everyone in this legislature agrees that job sustaining and increasing is a sound policy. The next argument for this hollow declaration is that it would kick off legislative action to attract jobs. Democratic socialist strategies under Joe Biden, Kathy Hochul, and New York City Mayor Mondami first deliberately create job losses. Then they campaign to try to address those issues. All Democrats have done to address job loss is to set up more social bureaucratic entities to address a problem that costs the private sector even more tax dollars to support. The simple truth is, New York is taxing and regulating the private sector to death. So businesses leave the state for less taxation and less regulation. How are you going to have specific job training programs when you do not know what kind of training is needed for a company that may decide to enter the county? Further, a world-class company like Cummins has their own training programs for job availability and needs workers to fill those jobs. From my own personal experience, I saw people failing to show up even to complete their training process at Cummins. Years ago, a former county executive stated that there were scores of jobs available in Chautauqua County, but people couldn't pass drug testing. The federal, state, and local governments need to keep out of the county's largest population source, that's the city of Jamestown, and stop encouraging welfare and entitlement, and force qualified people to get off of democratic socialism, go to work, and establish pride and a purpose for their lives. When I grew up, a well-balanced education ultimately led to jobs. I ask anyone to check the low math scores that Jamestown High School produces in recent years. Thank you.
Thank you. Next to address the first privilege of the floor.
Good evening. Good evening. I am Corey Maxon, and I am a supervisor with the Child Protection Services here in Jamestown. I am here on the topic of authorizing the lease agreement for 310 to 322 East 3rd Street Ventures. Having worked out of the South County office building for the last 19 years, I have seen I've made a lot of observations with the building itself. There's, even after new management ownership took it over, I'm just going to read a bullet point of things that I have seen. These are things that are going on, things that have been brought to the attention, and either go unmet or they get covered up literally with paint. And these observations are also limited to the outside of the front of the South County office building, parts of the basement section and the second floor. Different parts of the building, you can be on the same floor. One side, you're literally sweating to death. The other side, you can't find enough blankets to stay warm. The windows that do not open consistently leak in many places, and the facade and the tiles are literally falling off. You can stand on the second floor outside one of the elevators, and when a particular bathroom is flushed in the men's area, you can hear the water running down the elevator shaft. There's cockroaches throughout the building. The air ducts, the ducts themselves, even extending out several feet onto the tiles, is literally black from dust, cockroach, dander, feces being sprayed into the air. People that have respiratory issues, allergy issues, myself included, my number 2 triggers for my anaphylaxis is cockroach, feces, and mold, both of which you're just chronically subjected to that in this building. Consistent flooding from either up on the 5th floor, from the roofs down to the basement, to it just flooding from heavy rains, even the 2nd floor. How does the 2nd floor flood from outside rain? This results in mold. It's just growing. Well, they painted over it, they put carpet over it. It's still there. Water faucets in the bathroom. Everybody's a drip, 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 but when some of these are hard trickles, that's a waste of not only the water resource itself, but financially, because somebody's paying for that water. In the basement, part of the wall is actually missing. When I brought it to the attention of people before, their solution, they covered it up with a board. Behind that direct part, is resulting in a tunnel, is the women's bathroom. The wall is literally buckling down onto itself. I'm not an engineer, but that seems like a potential structural issue for me. The men's bathroom in the basement, the handicapped stall, people with disabilities. There's no door on the handicapped stall. The outside fixture. If you're standing on the 4th Street and you look up at the doors up to the top left, I first brought this up to the attention in November of 2025. It's not connected to anything. With ice, water, it's going to shift. It's already shifting. It's going to fall. It's going to shatter on the ground. It's going to hurt somebody, potentially kill somebody.
Excuse me, you've exceeded your 3 minutes.
Thank you very much. And that just bullet points and I have a lot more to share. So the South County office building has served its purpose, in my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the first privilege of the floor?
Good evening, everybody. Jeremy Anquist. I am the 25 Hillcrest Avenue here in Jamestown. I'm actually city councilman at large here in the city. And I just wanted to discuss the moving of the building to the 3rd Street office. I'm not against it. I just think that right now there's a lot of questions that I have, our council has, I think our mayor has, that we need answered before we start displacing tenants, before we start moving parks. For parking, I think it's a great idea. I want the DMV in the city. I want mental health in the city. I want it all in the city. I just think we need to pump the brakes a little bit and motion to table this later on. All right. I think that's it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And next to address the first privilege of the floor.
Good evening. My name is Shane Hawkins, and I'm the Executive Director of Infinity Visual and Performing Arts. I have been honored to serve our students and our team for the past 23 years. Infinity occupies 14,000 square feet in the Lynn Building. It houses 16 private lesson rooms, 2 art rooms, 2 band rooms, a dance studio, and a 4,000 square foot performance venue that seats 200 and features a 30-foot stage with professional lighting and sound. We have no interest in relocating. Infinity provides services for thousands of our community's young people every year. Students from the high school are able to easily walk across the street to receive mentoring, instruction, and support. During our most recent program year, Infinity served 1,500 students through 1,200 group classes and 10,000 private lessons. We presented dozens of public talent showcasing events. Our students range in age from 3 to 21 and attend more than 30 different regional schools. Infinity's programming is an equalizer that welcomes students from all walks of life and all ability levels. The poverty rate for children in Jamestown is greater than 38%. Chautauqua County is chronically among the top 10 poorest New York State counties. Students in our community need affordable programs like Infinity and Striders, and safe, welcoming spaces. Students in our community need engaging opportunities, so they may someday avoid needing some of the county support offices that are included in the proposition that is the final one this year, or this night. Our current lease rate allows us to provide our services for an affordable membership fee. 1/3 of our enrolled families cannot afford this fee. Each year, we secure more than $40,000 in grant funding to provide scholarship assistance. We have never turned a student away. In 2022, Infinity opened Pearl City Clay House, which is conveniently located directly across 2nd Street. Together, Infinity and Pearl City form a downtown arts campus. Since moving into the Lynn Building in 2014, thanks to the generous support of local and regional foundations, local and state government entities, and community donors, we have successfully raised and invested more than $500,000 in the Lynn Building. We've completed 7 discrete renovation projects. We've created a beautiful, customized, secure, and safe space for our students to explore, experience, and excel. Infinity exists to be a welcoming and safe space for young people. The safety of our students is our primary concern. We are fiercely protective of these kids. Families must feel comfortable bringing children to the building. The only elevator in the building sits 15 feet from our entrance. How will the county ensure that sex offenders, individuals with severe mental illness, and violent individuals arriving for appointments will not share our foyer or wander the building? Co-locating youth programs and a county probation and similar offices is extremely concerning to us. I thank you for the opportunity to be heard. To reiterate, Infinity has no interest in relocating. Thank you.
Thank you. And next,
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the legislation. My name is Jamie Lee Bonfiglio-Davis, and I am here representing Chautauqua Striders as a recent board member, Infinity Visual and Performing Arts, and most importantly, the hundreds of children and families that walk through the doors of the Lynn Building every week. Throughout my life, I have heard one message repeated by legislature and by organizations across Chautauqua County. Our children are our future. I mean, even Whitney wrote a song about it, right? We say that we are protecting them. We say that protecting them is one of our highest priorities. Today, I am asking that we let those words guide this decision. The Lynn Building is more than just a building. It is a place where children learn, create, grow, and find belonging. Each week, more than 400 young people come through the doors and participate in programs offered by Chautauqua Striders, Infinity Visual and Performing Arts. We even have a baseball center upstairs as well. The building's only ADA accessible entrance is located just a short walk from our entrance and of Jamestown High School. That's an entrance that's already used daily by students, families, instructors, volunteers, and staff. To be clear, this is not about the dedicated employees, like you just heard, who serve the community or the residents who rely on the county services. My concern is bringing a much higher volume of public traffic into a building that serves hundreds of children each week. Whenever we have the opportunity to reduce unnecessary public access in spaces dedicated to youth, I believe we have the responsibility to do so. I understand that the county needs additional office space, and I appreciate the important work of those departments and everything that they do, but I also believe that we have an obligation to consider the long-term impact of our decisions and that they will have on the children and the families who already call the Lynn Building their home. I respectfully ask you to reject the proposed relocation to the Lynn Building and continue looking for locations, because obviously you need one based on the testimony earlier, that better meets the county's needs without compromising a space that has become a safe haven for hundreds of children and families. Our children deserve spaces where we can focus on learning, growing, and discovering their potential. I hope that you keep them, our children, at the center of your decision. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Next.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Hannah Jarzinski, and I am also a city councilwoman for Ward 5 in the city of Jamestown. And I'm also a licensed mental health counselor by trade, and I specialize in working with children and families. So I kind of get a lot of different sides to a lot of different stories for sure. I also wanted to speak on the agenda item that my other councilman also brought up of moving to the Lynn Building and these other members of the community here. I don't disagree that the South County office building and the employees within it need to be moved with the conditions that they are dealing with. But I do think we need to pump the brakes on it, establish some sort of smaller committee, bipartisan committee, and really evaluate our options on where will be best to move these county employees. I would absolutely hate for something to happen to the stability of these programs that my fellow community members just mentioned, and for it to be on the county legislators' hands, that something happened with their stability. And as my licensed mental health counselor hat is on, I have seen the dedication in their employees, and I have seen the impact that these programs have on our children. You know, kids go to school for an escape sometimes in some households. What happens when school's not in session? They go to programs like Infinity. Some of us think of these programs of, oh, you know, they're just going to dance class, or they're going to their singing lesson, or, oh, little Billy's going to his guitar lesson. But for some of these kids, these programs are their hope for the future. They are the stable adulthood and mentorship that they need to truly succeed and continue to be bright residents of Chautauqua County. So I just ask, not against it, but just to simply table it. And let's really look at our options on what is best for county employees. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else to address the first privilege of the floor?
Good evening, Scott Axelson, Jamestown 402 Park Street. I come here from a user of both facilities, both the post office and also the DMV. Because my brother passed in December and I've been the executor for the estate. So I've spent 12 hours at the DMV, including sometime yesterday, with the lack of parking. So I understand the problem there, but also there's no parking at the current post office building many hours of the day. And I've got a parking ticket because I parked on the wrong side of the sign, which I paid, no problem. But the accessibility at different times of the day over there, even if you lose some of the Lynn tenants right now, I don't know where you're going to get the places to park the volume of people that need to get there. I understand the location is not a bad location. I'm not saying that wouldn't be something to look at, but so far, I know nothing has to be done really for another year because of the lease agreements with the current locations. So again, I think it would be good to look at other locations in the city because we know there's definitely space around the city that could be used. They've talked about Brooklyn Square where Odd Lots was, or Big Lots, but to kind of come back a little bit and just see if there's a better spot, because unless you've used these spaces, which I have used almost daily at the post office dealing with the estate mail and the DMV, which is impossible to get into a lot of times with bigger vehicles. Yes, that's not the right spot, but are we just moving one space to another and not able to really deal with making it really accessible to a vast number of people in South County? Because the joke has been, it's easier to go to Little Valley to get your driver's license stuff taken care of because it's accessibility than it is to go to Jamestown. And I really don't feel like driving to either one, when I got an office 2 miles from my house. So I just ask you to kind of step back, take a look, because you've got time. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the first privilege of the floor?
Mr. Chairman,
sorry?
Chairman, I had a request from a tenant of the Lynn Building to read a statement on her behalf, if that's okay.
Our privilege of the floor is for members of the public to speak.
Okay.
So
Well, it would have been her voice, and I would just be reading her
okay,
her letter.
step up to the microphone, please.
Sure, thank you. So this letter came, it came in an email to all the legislators, and she asked me today, because I asked her to come and speak to her letter. And this is what Cindy Saxon, CPA, a tenant of the Lynn Building, had to say. She said, "Dear legislators, I am unable to attend tonight's meeting, but have asked Vincent DeJoy to read my following statement in my absence. I am writing in response to the article in the Post-Journal on Wednesday, 7/15/26, regarding the county consolidating some of its offices in the Lynn Building. I have leased space in the building since 2014, when our entire office space was renovated to meet our specific needs. I do not want to move our offices again. I cannot afford the time and expense it would take to find another office, and our space is beautiful and exactly what we wanted. More importantly, though, I am writing in regarding to impact on both the nonprofits located in the building as well as the taxpayers of Chautauqua County. Both Chautauqua Striders and Infinity moved into the Lynn Building the same year that my firm did after extensive renovations to the space. A great deal of donated money and volunteer time was put into both spaces, especially Infinity's space, as well as an area with stage for performances by Infinity students. Expecting them to move to new spaces, building out those spaces, finding the donations and volunteer time to make those renovations, and getting the rental rates that they are receiving from their current landlord is going to be an extreme hardship on both organizations and provide valuable services to the youth of our county. Chautauqua Striders is in an ideal location due to its close proximity to Jamestown High School. Many students walk directly from the high school to Striders for after-school program, as do Infinity students. Infinity in recent years also renovated a building across from the Lynn Building for Pearl City Clay House. I do not believe either nonprofit can be in the same building as the Chautauqua County Probation Department due to the safety concerns of their students. Even if both nonprofits move from the building, the Probation Department should not be located in the Lynn Building due to its close proximity to Jamestown High School. In addition to the students coming directly to the building for programming, there is a large number of students walking around the block of our building before and after school. Parents pick up their teenagers after school, both on 2nd and 3rd Streets. And once again, we need to think about the safety of the students. I'm not familiar with the clients of the offices of other county, but would like to put the Lynn Building. However, I would like to some thought should be put into whether the Lynn Building is a good location for those clients. As a taxpayer of Chautauqua County, I cannot believe the legislature is considering a move to this building. It will result in higher rental expense than what is currently being paid in other spaces, according to the article. I'd like to know who else in Jamestown is paying the exorbitant rent that will be charged Chautauqua County if it moves to the Lynn Building, $23.50 per square foot, $105,000 per month, over $1,250,000 per year. I dare say no one in the Lynn Building is currently paying over $10 per square foot, and the nonprofits are probably not paying over $5 per square foot. Why would Chautauqua County agree to such lease terms? Another question to be asked, if the county's current leases in the other buildings do not expire until late 2027, the county will be paying leases for both their current locations in the Lynn Building. The Post-Journal article also said that there were 80 available parking spaces. That is true, but probably at least 75% of those spaces are written into post office lease.
Excuse me, legislator, she's exceeded her 3 minutes by a substantial amount.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the first privilege of the floor?
Bob Whitney, 41 Halleck Street, Jamestown, New York. I am a member of the public. This came to committee last week. I was the first committee it came to. We've only had 9 days at most to look at it. It's another one of those deals where we take the test and vote on it, and then you can study tomorrow. And as I looked into it after voting for it last week, parking is a big, big issue. They told me that they had 2 parking spots across the street, and I went by them both this week. They're both 75% full, and then they said something about additional parking in the park across from the high school, which I don't think we should be losing that park. The kids go over there. Some of them hold class over there. I just don't see any reason why we can't sit back and wait another 30 days. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the first privilege of the floor?
Good evening. My name is Joe Russa, and I am with the group that is interested in purchasing the Lynn Building. We have the contract on it. And I was invited by a number of people in the county that work for the county and some of the legislatures to come to Jamestown to help them solve a problem. That's why I'm here. I was originally born in Jamestown. Started my life out in the Spanish Gates Apartments. My niece is a Jamestown policewoman. She works here in the community. And, as I got to know more about Gary Lynn, I realized its legacy. As a father, we all think about, did I do the right thing? What am I leaving behind for my children? Sometimes people want to leave money, buildings, values. Everybody is different. So Gary Lynn, being a very generous man, offered space to nonprofits that are paying $2.37 a square foot. In hindsight, I would think that if Gary could come back and redo what he had done, he probably would have said, instead of spreading this out over 7, 8, 9 buildings with nonprofits, maybe I should have done it with just one building. Had everybody in one building. Because now what has happened is it creates a burden, an actual financial burden to the family. How do they maintain the building? How can they keep it up? It's expensive. The taxes, the improvements, the air conditionings, the roofs, all of these things cost money. And right now, at $2.37 a square foot for some of the tenants, it's not sustainable. What becomes of the building at that rate if somebody doesn't come in and try to beautify it? If it's not me today, it will be somebody else tomorrow, and you'll be back to the same problem. So, you don't want the building to become a blight. We've made a commitment to come to Jamestown, to invest monies here, to beautify the area. And we're not just looking at one building to purchase. We have plans for other buildings as well. We're making a commitment here to the Jamestown community with this purchase. We want to be part of the community. Again, I have family here. I was born here. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the first privilege of the floor?
My name is Jeff Woreski, and I've had the opportunity to be with Joe Russa through this opportunity. And yes, it is an opportunity. It's not only an opportunity for Joe Russa and his family, but it's an opportunity for Jamestown itself. I worked for Benderson Development for almost 40 years, and I was responsible for all the locations here under the Benderson flag in Jamestown. Fluvanna Avenue, when Mr. Benderson came in the 50s, built the Ames, built the Acme supermarket. Acme supermarket was then occupied by Marshall Dillon's, which everybody knows about Marshall Dillon's. So we have, between Joe and I, we have 80 years of experience. And not only the legacy with Mr. Benderson in regards to what he's done here, but also myself taking a supermarket at Hazeltine and Baker and converting that blight piece of property with relocating Social Security there, and also the Resource Center, which was with us for 15 years, Social Security 30 years. And if you go by those properties now, they're immaculate because we know how to take care of properties. We're developers. We understand what needs to be done, not only with buildings, but with people. We look at tenants as people. We look at them as customers. That makes a big difference. We're only trying to do what's right for what is needed. And we will continue to do that because we never give up. We're developers. We would love to have your support tonight. We really would, because I think it's going to make a difference in Jamestown. I connected with 3 local brokerage individuals over the past 6 months here, and they're excited to have us be here because we are already looking at other properties. We want to be able to help Jamestown. I've talked to one broker and one owner of a building, and they told me that in the past 7 years, Jamestown hasn't been what it used to be, but they're still raising their families here. We want to make a difference, and we need your support to do that. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Anyone else to address the first privilege of the floor? Anyone else? Seeing no one, I will close the first privilege of the floor. And at this time, I would invite Kristen McMahon to come up and make the presentation on behalf of the Robert H. Jackson Center, and we will step aside.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So we are celebrating a number of anniversaries this year, and I am deeply grateful to the foresight of Carl Kappa, Betty Lene Fairbank, and Gregory Peterson 25 years ago to dream this up. We are also fortunate this evening to have some of our early board members with us, Bruce Janowski, Randy Sweeney, and Raleigh Kidder, who had to depart a little bit early. And with all of this combined interest, desire, and drive to help us thrive is how we've gotten here. We are especially grateful to be hosting you all in July because we're also celebrating the 85th anniversary of Robert Jackson's appointment to the Supreme Court. That was just a couple weeks ago. And this coming Sunday is actually the 80th anniversary of his closing statement at Nuremberg. So we're celebrating all of the anniversaries this year. To showcase this better than I can say it, a couple of our interns, Colin Pence and Rebecca George, Colin is here with us this evening, put together a video for you. So I will turn it over to Ed for that video. And Colin, could you drop the lights, please?
Hello.
It's a good start.
Hello.
We did test this earlier.
Hello, and we are excited to welcome you to the Robert H. Jackson Center today.
Hello, and we are excited to welcome you to the Robert H. Jackson Center today. My name's Kristen McMahon, and I have the great privilege of serving as the president of the Jackson Center, and we are honored to be a part of this Chautauqua County legislative session. My understanding is this is the first time the legislature has met outside of Mayville. This year, the center celebrates its 25th anniversary. So before we begin, we wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of what we've done during our 25 years. At the Jackson Center, our mission is to be a forum for education and discussion of law and justice issues, and all, of course, while being guided by the life and principles of Robert H. Jackson. Jackson was a Chautauqua County boy. He practiced law here in Jamestown for 20 years. He was a Supreme Court justice during the presidencies of Roosevelt, Truman, and Eisenhower. And for this year, during the 80th anniversary, he was also the chief prosecutor for the International Military Tribunal at Nuremberg following World War II. We are grateful that you've allowed us this honor of being such a part of an integral aspect of the legislative system here in Chautauqua County. Thank you for being with us.
Enquist says although Jackson's gone, his legacy of the American ideal of fairness and justice is something Chautauqua County should be proud of.
Surely Jamestown and Chautauqua County can be proud of the career of their native son on both the national and the international scene.
I'm thrilled to see this thing physically here, and with the generous contributions of your donors who are here today. This is a great thing to do. You've already heard what I had to say some years back about Justice Jackson, but his legacy is enormous, and it will never cease to be important. And I will never cease to marvel that someone from this community, a graduate of the elementary school and the public high school, without further education, could go on to be one of the great justices of our Supreme Court.
And you toured the Robert Jackson Center yesterday.
Yes, I did. I thought it was a remarkable tribute to the justice. He would have been proud to see what has been done with his center.
We are here to celebrate the 10th anniversary of the dedication of the Jackson Center. We do so on an especially significant date. 59 years ago today, the Supreme Court handed down its decision in Brown versus Board of Education, which declared that segregating public school students by race violates the 14th Amendment's guarantee of equal protection. Justice Jackson was, of course, a member of the court that handed down that momentous decision and began the process of undoing the court's grave error in the 1896 case of Plessy versus Ferguson.
One of the deepest things I think you can find is the substance that too easily gets lost in the label of family values. But the substance of it, real engagement on serious matters, close personal relationship, abiding human values are things that were Robert Jackson.
Unselfish service, including his willingness to be called away from service on the court, controversially so, to serve with renown as chief prosecutor in Nuremberg, and to develop in very short order and to present persuasively a case of, shall I say, universal significance. And it simply doesn't do justice to his performance to say it was of historic interest.
Standing here in a center named for one of the giants of American legal jurisprudence, who made such contributions not only to our own country but to the world. And I was telling Greg and Raleigh that in the last several years, as we have debated what are the standards America should stand for, how do we use the rule of law, which sets us apart from other countries, that certainly distinguishes us from our enemies and our foes around the world. Time and time again, we have gone back to the writings and the example of Justice Jackson. Right out of Jamestown has come someone whose voice still speaks with clarity and conviction through the ages.
I am very, very surprised, flattered, and proud to be here and to have discovered over these recent years this wonderful agency.
Donahue quoted Justice Jackson, and we have to hang on to something, and he called it a fixed star. That's it. You got to hang on to something. A fixed star in our constitutional constellation, and I thought, I'm gonna memorize it like Phil did because it's so profound.
The Jackson Center continues to impact the local Chautauqua County community with events that are free to the public, which foster the growth of Jackson's goals and principles on both the local and international scale. This includes hosting multiple naturalization ceremonies a year, where new immigrants from around the world take their final step towards becoming American citizens, taking the oath right here in our theater. The Jackson Center hosts many of the parties from cases that Jackson presided over, as well as cases that were nationally relevant at the time. The Brown sisters from the Brown versus Board of Education case visited and hosted a Jackson Center for a roundtable discussion open to the community with various former clerks from the court. In the well-known case, Jackson was a part of the 9-0 ruling which desegregated American schools. Fred Korematsu visited the center after his discussion at the Chautauqua Institution. Korematsu was wrongfully interned during World War II, and his conviction was upheld in the Supreme Court. Jackson was one of only 3 powerful dissents.
Learn about Robert Jackson. Do you have any reaction, any reflection on him?
Robert Jackson is another person that I feel that is like the attorneys I worked with.
Oh, so you think of him as part of your team, right, don't you?
Right.
He and the 2 other dissenters were sort of with Mr. Bessig. They were your first team.
Paul Campion and Randall Johnson visited and were interviewed by Greg Peterson when their case for equal marriage rights was placed before the court in 2015. They spread the news of their story and how the legal system in America was working to serve the needs of all its citizens. The Jackson Center maintains a yearly tradition hosting the International Humanitarian Law Dialogues, where prosecutors, judges, and members of the international law community meet to discuss the issues facing international law. This conference allows the attendees to spread the message of justice and reaffirm the idea that the international community is capable of bringing those spreading violence to justice. The Jackson Center maintains a strong influence in Western New York with the dedication of the federal courthouse to Jackson. The courthouse where Jackson argued in his days as a country lawyer now carries his name in remembrance. Through partnership with both the City of Nuremberg Documentation Center and the U.S. Supreme Court, the center maintains a high legal profile both internationally and domestically. The Jackson Center is proud to regularly host events in conjunction with the Supreme Court Historical Society. The Jackson Center aims to maintain relationships with school districts across Chautauqua County. The center provides materials and coursework for students to learn more about the history of Robert H. Jackson and hosts hundreds of students each year. The Jackson Center has yearly Constitution Day programming where authors and experts in their fields are hosted by the center to discuss themes such as civic engagement and historical interaction with the Constitution. This program keeps the ideas of the founders present in modern Chautauqua County. The Jackson Center collaborates with Living Voices, a national theatrical group that portrays historical events through performance. This offers historical material through a unique perspective for the local community. The center hosts a society dinner every year for members of the board and principal donors. This event keeps the Jackson Center family a close-knit group capable of achieving change across the local community. The event also preserves the lasting legacy of Robert Jackson.
Thank you, Kristen. That was very well done. And now on our agenda, we have time reserved for 2 public hearings. The first public hearing is for execution of master hangar license agreement for general aviation aircraft storage at the Chautauqua County Jamestown Airport. I will now open that public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak to this public hearing? Anyone to speak to the public hearing? Seeing no one, I will close the first public hearing. And that brings us to our second public hearing regarding a potential application for 2026 Community Development Block Grant funding through the New York State Office of Community Renewal and the uses of said funding. I will now open that public hearing, and please speak.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good evening. My name is Rosie Stramberg, and I'm a project manager of the Chautauqua Region Economic Development Corporation. This public hearing is being held pursuant to the requirements of the Community Development Block Grant Program. We are required to compile a list of people attending the hearing, so we ask all members of the public who are attending the hearing, please identify themselves. The Community Development Block Grant, also known as CDBG program, is a federally funded program authorized by Title I of the Housing and Community Development Act of 1974 and administered by the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development, known as HUD. Funds are provided directly by HUD to large municipalities, generally over 50,000 in populations for cities, villages, and towns, and 200,000 for counties, through the Formula Entitlement Program. For all other municipalities, the New York State Office of Community Renewal, known as OCR, is New York State's designated agency for distributing the CDBG funds through the Small Cities Program. The CDBG program provides grants to municipalities in order to ensure safe, decent, and affordable housing, assist businesses in activities that will create and retain employment opportunities, and provide improved public facilities and services. The OCR generally only funds projects or activities where at least 51% of the activity beneficiaries are low to moderate income persons, known as LMI. A low to moderate income person is one who is a member of a family whose income is at or below 80% of the area median income established by the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Municipalities intending to apply for CDBG funding are required to hold a public hearing prior to submitting the application. The hearing is for the purposes of soliciting public input regarding community development and housing needs in the municipality, and 2, soliciting public comment regarding any specific activities proposed for submission. If funding is awarded, a second public hearing will be required during the implementation phase of the project or activity the CDBG funds are supporting. The Chautauqua Region Economic Development Corporation has asked Chautauqua County to apply for a grant in an amount not to exceed $100,000 from the OCR that will be provided as a grant to Critic, which will use the funds to provide a term and deferred loan to Sunnyside Ventures 716 LLC to assist in financing a portion of the cost for equipment and working capital expenses associated with the project in the village of Mayville. Sunnyside Ventures LLC is proposing to renovate a vacant building located at 31 Southeast Erie Street, Mayville, New York, purchase equipment, and incur working capital expenses in connection with the establishment of a boutique hotel and spa. The total project cost is expected to be approximately $495,000. The project is expected to create an estimated 6 full-time equivalent jobs, the majority of which will be held by or made available to low and moderate income individuals. Any persons wishing to make comments regarding community needs or the proposed project is now invited to do so. Please state your name prior to making your comments.
Thank you, Rosie. So is there anyone wishing to address the public hearing? Anyone to address the public hearing? Seeing no one, Rosie, should I close the public hearing?
Yes, please.
I will now close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we will now move on with the rest of our agenda. So Olivia, over to you.
There are no veto messages from County Executive Wendell from the June 24th, 2026 legislature meeting. There are 5 communications listed on the agenda. If you'd like a copy of any of these items, please let our office know. Local Law Introductory 9-26. A local law opting out of RPTL Section 487 tax exemptions for certain equipment and energy systems.
Are there any comments, discussion on the proposed local law? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is carried.
Local Law Introductory 10-26. A local law amending Local Law 7-1990 as amended relating to the management salary plan by providing for an annual adjustment of management salary ranges based upon the Consumer Price Index.
Legislator Gustafson.
Yes, I'd like to make a motion to withdraw this local law. It is to be revised and resubmitted at a future date.
And is there a second to the motion to withdraw?
I'll second that.
Legislator Bankowski seconds the motion. Is there any discussion on the motion to withdraw the proposed local law? Hearing none, all those in favor of withdrawal, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is withdrawn.
Local Law Introductory 11-26. A local law amending Local Law 6-01 regarding budget procedures after issuance of annual tentative budget.
Are there any comments, questions on the proposed local law? Legislator Larson.
Artificial intelligence might be wrong, but it indicates that under our charter, local laws need a roll call vote. I ask our counsel if that's his understanding. In any event, Mr. Chairman, there'd be nothing wrong with having a roll call on 9:26 and 11:26 to be safe.
Okay. Then I will return us to local law 9-26, which we all just voted on. And I would ask the clerk to please call the roll for proposed local law introductory 9-26.
Mr. Anthony,
Yes.
Mr. Bankowski,
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan,
Yes.
Mr. DeJoy,
Yes.
Mrs. Gustafson,
Yes.
Mr. Harmon,
Yes.
Mr. Heiser,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson is absent, Mr. Larson,
Yes.
Miss Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Merritt is absent, Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Pavlock,
Yes.
Mr. Penhollow,
Yes.
Mr. Proctor,
Yes.
Mr. Scudder,
Yes.
Miss Vanstrom,
Yes.
Mr. Whitney,
Yes.
Chairman Shagnon.
Yes.
There are 17 yes votes and 2 members absent. The local law is adopted.
Legislator Larson, I'm sure you'll agree there's no requirement for a roll call vote on a withdrawal motion.
No, of course not.
Okay. Then back to local law, proposed local law introductory 11-26. Are there any questions or comments relative to that proposed local law? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Anthony,
Yes.
Mr. Bankowski,
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan,
Yes.
Mr. DeJoy,
Yes.
Mrs. Gustafson,
Yes.
Mr. Harmon,
Yes.
Mr. Heiser,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson is absent, Mr. Larson,
Yes.
Miss Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Merritt is absent, Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Pavlock,
Yes.
Mr. Penhollow,
Yes.
Mr. Proctor,
Yes.
Mr. Scudder,
Yes.
Miss Vanstrom,
Yes.
Mr. Whitney,
Yes.
Chairman Shagnon.
Yes.
There are 17 yes votes and 2 members absent. The local law is adopted. Resolution number 166-26, amend Chautauqua County Department of Mental Hygiene and Social Services 2026 budget for increased safety net costs.
Legislator Gustafson.
Again, I make a motion that we withdraw this resolution.
Okay, we have a motion to withdraw. And a
Second.
Second by legislator Bankowski. Is there any comments or questions on the motion to withdraw resolution 184-26? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is withdrawn.
Mr. Chairman, should have been 166-26, not 184.
I'm sorry, 166. Thank you for that clarification. I'm getting ahead of myself again, aren't I?
Resolution number 184-26, declaring job creation the number 1 economic development goal.
Are there any questions, comments, discussion?
Mr. Chairman,
Legislator Larson.
as the sponsor of the resolution, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I find, especially being in the minority, at least this year of this legislature, I work very hard to make my arguments as factual as possible. So in the first 2 whereases, I'd like to move some factual amendments so that the first whereas reads, whereas since 2022, Chautauqua County has lost 230 jobs at Bush Industries, 84 jobs at Serta Mattress instead of 100, 350 jobs at Truck Light, and 79 jobs at Monofrex, all in the town of Ellicott. In the second whereas, there's one factual change I'd like to offer, which is whereas the county earlier lost 425 jobs at Carriage House in Fredonia rather than 500, and 200 jobs at Petrie Baking in Silver Creek. So I would make those factual amendments to the first 2 whereases, Mr. Chairman.
So we have a motion to amend the resolution by legislator Larson. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by legislator Larson.
Nelson.
Nelson. Any discussion on the motion to amend the resolution? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to amend?
Mr. Anthony,
No.
Mr. Binkowski,
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan,
Yes.
Mr. DeJoy,
Yes.
Mrs. Gustafson,
No.
Mr. Harmon,
No.
Mr. Heiser,
No.
Mr. Johnson is absent, Mr. Larson,
Yes.
Miss Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Merritt is absent, Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Pavlak,
No.
Mr. Penhallow,
No.
Mr. Proctor,
No.
Mr. Scudder,
No.
Miss Vanstrom,
No.
Mr. Whitney,
Yes.
Chairman Shagnon.
Yes.
I'm sorry. Mr. Whitney, I'm sorry. How did you vote?
Voted yes.
You voted yes. And Chairman Shagnon, how did you vote?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. There are 8 yes votes, 9 no votes, and 2 members absent. The motion to amend fails.
Mr. Chairman.
Legislator Harmon.
Yes, I'd like to amend Resolution 184-26 by substitution. There has been a resolution put in.
Mr. Chairman, as a point of personal privilege, as the author of the resolution, we just voted on an amendment whose terms were exactly those that Chairman Harmon of the Economic Development Committee passed at their committee. They just voted, you didn't, but the rest of them voted against their own changes to my resolution. I would like, as a matter of personal privilege, to speak on my resolution before anybody else moves to replace my resolution.
Granted.
Thank you. For those of you in the audience, I don't know if I'm happy or sad that you get to see how this legislature can be just as partisan as the House of Representatives. The amendments that I moved, those 4 factual amendments, the chairman of the Economic Development Committee meeting was about to offer as a substitute for my resolution. They just voted against their own changes to my resolution. That's how partisan this place can be. Sad, I think. Anyway, I, as a fellow attorney in the audience knows, I practiced law in this town for 38 years before being a judge for 8. I did a lot of business law, taught business law part-time at Fredonia for 8 years. I saw people lose their jobs. I saw when Cisco closed here in Faulkner and moved their operation, consolidated it down into that funny sounding name place north of Pittsburgh. I represented those people under a legal plan they had. I saw the devastation of people's lives when their job went away. I put forward a simple resolution. It has 4 whereases and 2 resolves. I thought I owed that to the 100 or so people that lost their jobs at CERTA. CERTA did not disappear from our country. They did disappear from our community. The 230 people that lost their jobs at Bush this summer, the 350 people that lost their jobs at Truck Light, a company that was invented in Jamestown, New York, I think in 1956. We owe it to those people to say something about the loss of employment jobs in this county. 14,000 fewer employment numbers than 15 years ago. It's incredible. We owe it to the kids that graduated high school in Chautauqua County this year, as few numbers as they are compared to a generation ago. We owe it to them. We owe it to the recent graduates of JCC, recent graduates of SUNY Fredonia in this county, who are having trouble finding employment, despite all the help wanted signs at fast food places and other places. We owe it to them to say we understand the importance of a job. Our County Industrial Development Agency has done great work since 1972, but that doesn't mean they couldn't do better. They suggest that, well, jobs are important, but gee, investment in the county is important too. Well, a $10 million solar farm, I learned in a seminar returning to the legislature in 2024. The IDA confirmed that on a $10 million solar farm, they charge a 1% fee. They get a $100,000 check from that solar farm developer for a payment in lieu of tax agreement, maybe an exemption from paying sales tax, and maybe an exemption from paying mortgage tax on financing. That $10 million, I don't have anything against $10 million solar farms, I guess, but they don't create any jobs. One of them, the IDA, publicly said it would create a half a job. I don't know what a half a job looks like to support a family. But a $10 million investment in other kinds of businesses may produce 20, 30, 40, 50 jobs. The people can graduate high school, get a job. Graduate JCC, Fredonia, other colleges, get a job here. When we lose one manufacturing job, such as a truck light, an engineer at Truck Light moved to Michigan to continue working for Truck Light. His spouse went with him, his 2 children went with him, and his 2 in-laws followed the grandchildren. We lost 6 people on one job. Jobs mean almost everything. And so I presented a very simple resolution with the following 2 resolves: that the Chautauqua County Legislature declares private sector and not-for-profit sector job creation the #1 economic goal of county government and its Chautauqua County Industrial Development Agency, and be it further resolved that government grants, payment in lieu of tax agreements, exemptions from sales taxes and mortgage taxes, low-interest loans, such as LTEC loans, and taxpayer-funded infrastructure improvements be directed at private investment that will create jobs for our residents. Job creation is so critically needed in this county. Even the not-for-profit sector we have seen in the last 2 or 3 years, we've even lost nursing homes, 2 of them in the South County, nursing homes. We're a relatively elderly population here, and we lost 2 nursing homes with all those jobs that the nursing homes represented. We have a huge task to rebuild jobs in this county. And I had, believe it or not, I had 3 or 4 citizens the last few weeks ask me why the Republican legislators wouldn't just say, okay, jobs is the #1 goal. And the best I could answer is employment, jobs, is measured every month by the state and federal government. Every month, has been for probably 60, 70 years. You can't fake those numbers. You can measure how you're doing on employment. A lot of the other talk about economic development, to be kind, cannot be measured. And that's all I have to say about this resolution. I would hope on a night where it's not 12 to 7, it's 10 to 7 tonight, I believe. I would hope we could have 10 people anyway that would say, okay. Whether it's Fredonia with a loss of Carriage House, those 450 jobs that I offered to amend down from 500, was it? 425. The county and its IDA, rightly so, is proud of Wells Enterprises, former Dunkirk Ice Cream. Almost a $500 million investment, fantastic. They told the community that they anticipated 270 new jobs. That's still way short of the 425 or the 500 that we lost at that one employer in Fredonia. I would hope some few of you would say, okay, let's not oppose this because a Democrat made the resolution, especially tonight when we're sitting in a place I was dedicated to Robert H. Jackson. And I read out in the hallway on the wall, you can read it on the way out.
Legislator Larson, I granted you the opportunity to speak about your resolution.
This
Are you
is
done?
it. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Legislator Harmon, thank you for your patience. I'll now turn to you.
Okay, I want to respect what Mr. Larson had said. Resolution, would like to see this resolution be amended by substitution. Mr. Larson is spot on with a lot of things, but there's a lot more factors involved than just the title of job creation for the IDA and what we do and how we do it. It's pretty simple. The amended resolution, as everyone has on their desk, is pretty self-explanatory and just enhances the original resolution. That's all we're asking is to pass this amended resolution.
So you're making a motion
Making a
to
motion
amend by
to-
substitution
Yes.
what has been laid on the desks. Is there a second to the motion to amend by substitution?
I'll second it.
Second by Legislator Pavlik. Discussion on the motion to amend resolution, let me get the right number this time, 184-26. Legislator Scudder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This resolution's been kicked around, I think, for a while. Maybe I shouldn't say kicked around, but kicked around. Okay, I got the blessing of Legislator Larson. And I think he knows what I'm going to say. I see this as a glorified motion. I don't see how we can enforce this. I think it's on the minds of all the legislators, at least it is on my mind, job creation. I cannot wake up in the morning and guarantee everyone here that job creation is going to be my number one thing that day. When I get a call from a Jamestown resident who's concerned about her grandchildren that don't have dental health care. 2 hours later, I get a call from somebody, the price of gas in Chautauqua County. 2 hours later, it's something else. My day is spread out. There's a lot of issues. I can't guarantee you that this is going to be on the forefront all the time. I don't think there's a member of the legislature up here that is not in favor of job creation. I voted against Mr. Larson's amendment because I wanted to see something passed tonight, because I think it's time we get something done with this. And I believe that the amended version that's on our desk will pass. So that's why I'm going to vote in favor of that tonight. I think it's time we move on from this topic. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments, questions, discussion on the proposed amendment? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll?
Mr. Anthony,
Yes.
Mr. Binkowski,
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan,
Yes.
Mr. DeJoy,
No.
Mrs. Gustafson,
Yes.
Mr. Harmon,
Yes.
Mr. Heiser,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson is absent, Mr. Larson,
No.
Miss Lewis,
No.
Mr. Merritt is absent, Mr. Nelson,
No.
Mr. Pavlik,
Yes.
Mr. Penhollow,
Yes.
Mr. Proctor,
Yes.
Mr. Scudder,
Yes.
Ms. Vanstrom,
Yes.
Mr. Whitney,
No.
Chairman Shagnon.
Yes.
Okay, there are 12 yes votes, 5 no votes, and 2 members absent. The motion to amend is carried.
Oh, thank you. So the resolution has been amended. Now we need to vote on Resolution 184-26 as amended. Is there any discussion on the amended resolution? Hearing none. All those in favor? I'm sorry, you probably should call the roll again, sorry.
Okay. Mr. Anthony,
Yes.
Mr. Bankowski,
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan,
Yes.
Mr. DeJoy,
Yes.
Mrs. Gustafson,
Yes.
Mr. Harmon,
Yes.
Mr. Heiser,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson is absent, Mr. Larson,
Yes.
Miss Lewis, Mr. Merritt is absent, Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Pavlock,
Yes.
Mr. Penhollow,
Yes.
Mr. Proctor,
Yes.
Mr. Scudder,
Yes.
Miss Vanstrom,
Yes.
Mr. Whitney,
Yes.
Chairman Shagnon.
Yes.
Okay, there are 17 yes votes and 2 members absent. The resolution is adopted. Okay, resolutions. 185-26. Authorize master hangar license agreement for general aviation aircraft storage at Chautauqua County Jamestown Airport.
Are there any questions, comments on the proposed resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
186-26. SCCLSD sewer rates.
Are there any comments, any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
187-26. Amend petty cash fund amount at the South County Transfer Station.
Any questions, any comments on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
188-26. Authorize agreement with the Village of Westfield for landfill leachate.
Are there any questions or comments on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
189-26. Amend D.5112 capital improvement accounts.
Any questions, any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
190-26. Standard workday and reporting resolution.
Are there any comments or questions on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
191-26. Authorize extension of the 2025 Vote by Mail Grant Award from the New York State Board of Elections.
Are there any questions or comments on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
192-26. Authorize acceptance of the FY 2023 Hazmat Targeted Grant Program funds.
Any comments or questions on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
193-26. Authorize acceptance of FY 2024 Hazmat Targeted Grant Program funds.
Are there any comments, any questions on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
194-26. Authorize acceptance of FY 2025 Emergency Management Performance Grant, EMPG 25.
Any comments or questions on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
195-26. Amend Office of Emergency Services 2026 budget.
Are there any comments, any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
196-26. Amend 2026 budget for North Chautauqua Lake Sewer District.
Any questions, any comments on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
197-26, requesting AFPB to remove parcel from Agricultural District 10.
Any comments or discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
198-26, authorizing application submittal for 2026 Community Development Block Grant funding through the New York State Office of Community Renewal.
Are there any comments or any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
199-26, approve Dunkirk Lighthouse and Veterans Park Museum non-point source grant application.
Any questions or comments on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
200-26, approve Bemis Creek Local Waterfront Revitalization Program implementation grant application.
Are there any questions or any comments on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
201-26, Government Reduction Initiative Assistance for Town of Pomfret for North Chautauqua County Reorganization Plan.
Are there any questions or any discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.
202-26, authorized lease agreement with 310-322 East Third Ventures LLC.
Legislator Gustafson.
Yes. Thank you, Chairman. Addressing many of the concerns raised this evening, I'd like to make two amendments to 202-26. The first being I'd like to remove any reference to probation occupying the building at 310 through 322 East 3rd Street. Additionally, I'd like to make an amendment to provide consideration for supporting the continued occupancy of Infinity Visual and Performing Arts and Striders at 310 through 322 East 3rd Street in an effort to be good community citizens and recognize the value that these organizations bring to our community.
Okay, we have a motion to amend Resolution 202-26. Do I have a second?
Second.
Legislator Bankowski seconds. Discussion on the motion to amend. Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion to amend, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is amended. Now, for discussion on Resolution 202-26 as amended, Legislator Larson.
Mr. Chairman, I had planned to focus my efforts on the jobs resolution tonight, but it occurred to me that out of these 19 well-meaning legislators, I can give a unique perspective on this decision where to put county offices. I was a county legislator, I believe, in 1987. How about that? 39 years ago, when the county submitted to me as a legislator a proposition that we buy 3 old buildings. There was not a building, 3 buildings, and call it the South County Office Building. I thought about it long and hard. I thought at the time it would be a bad place for our employees, be a bad place for our customers. So as a Jamestown legislator, I voted against that particular concept of a South County office building. 39 years later, there's lots of people that agree with me that that is and was a mistake. Then it occurred to me, I hadn't thought of it till I'm sitting here tonight making some notes. Around about 1990, 91, a different county executive had the county legislature approve a bond issue for a brand new North County office building. Those of you from the North County, or those of you that are just Tim Hortons fans, where the Tim Hortons stands, where the Tim Hortons is today, near the hotel, near the waterfront, not on the waterfront. I voted as a Jamestown legislator, I voted in favor of a bond issue to give the people of the North County and our employees a brand new county office building. designed and built for our needs, not some old building or buildings gerrymandered around. So the county executive, for only the second time in his term as county executive, when I was a legislator, asked me to come to Mayville. And he asked me, as a Jamestown legislator, was I in favor of building that new North County office building? I asked, as a lawyer, I asked a simple lawyer-like question. Did the bids come within the bond amount? He said, yes. I said, well, then build it. I apologized to the folks in the North County and our county employees. Had I said, don't build it, I think he might have signed the contract to build that building. But I said, build it, sign the contracts. And as county executive, he didn't. And so 36 years later, that stands as a mistake, that we didn't build that North County office building to the county specifications and to serve our employees well and the public. So tonight, we have a proposition here to commit the county for the next 10 years, and based on experience, it probably commits the county for 20 or 30 years to this particular location. I don't have any automatic problems with this location. What I have a problem with is twofold. One, I learned about it in the Post-Journal, and I thank the Post-Journal. There's still more detail in the Post-Journal, I think, story than there is in the resolution. But the first public presentation of it, I believe, was a week ago, Monday. In 9 days, we are being asked to decide a multi-million-dollar investment cost for the next 10 years, technically, and as a practical matter, 20 or 30 years. That's a ridiculously short amount of time to make that major decision. The second concern I have is someone that for 8 years was also part-time the county attorney for Chautauqua County. I don't understand why there's never been a public request for proposals for office space in the city of Jamestown. I think that's all I have to say on this resolution tonight, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman?
Legislator Penhallow, I believe, had his hand up next.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So in discussion in the last 7 to 10 days, my questions were this. We know the current condition of the buildings that we're in now are deplorable. Eyewitness accounts, bills not being paid by the building owner, so on and so forth. Factual, true. Other question I asked, is this a cost reduction going from the current 3 buildings to this one location? I'm pretty sure that it is, but I'd like to have that verification. Verification of cost comparison and savings in today's numbers, the current 3 locations that we're in, moving to 310 through 322. That needs to be answered for me. Number 2, we have commitment.
We do, Legislator Penhallow, I believe the budget director is here to
Fantastic.
answer your question.
Thank you.
Good evening, Jennifer Swan, Budget Director. So to answer your question, and I believe all of you were supplied the details of a spreadsheet that I created earlier this week. Essentially, the local share cost, yes, estimated would be going down. Taking into account revenue reimbursements for the human services departments that would be moving there, and also a cut to our parking expenses would primarily be the cause of our savings. But yes, overall, the local share cost would go down.
Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me, Legislator Penhallow, has your question been answered?
Yeah, thank you. However, I still have a few. Thank you.
Keep the floor.
Yeah, thank you. One of my other concerns was the Strider and Infinity program in that building, which is detrimental to the community. Couldn't agree with the cases presented or the justification for it, absolutely. And I certainly respect Mr. Lynn. Didn't know him very well, but I know he was a very kind and generous man. And I assume he's being recognized in the afterlife right now for his generosity. That's the way I believe. So to the developers, I would ask their commitment to keep those square foot rental amounts the same. I believe that's a commitment. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody here on the floor, that the Infinity lease right now, the arts program, is between 7 and 10 years on the books the way that it stands now. That will be recognized going forward. And I believe if the county's not in that building, I believe, in my opinion, Striders and Infinity, is it sustainable if they're the only few that are left in that building? That's the other question. And I'm probably going to be hit with a baseball bat when I leave tonight for asking this question, but I still have interest in the Chautauqua Mall. And I know that doesn't make people from the city of Jamestown happy, but I look at the Chautauqua Mall and I think ample parking, possible green space. It's near Village of Lakewood. It's near the city line, town of Ellicott. That commercial corridor, and I know we discussed that last year and it was shot down and it was pretty clear, it was communicated to us it was a bad idea. But I am going to vote for this, and a couple of reasons why. One, it's a cost reduction. Two, the current condition that we're in, they're deplorable. I believe that the iron is hot, and sometimes in life you have to make that decision. And I believe we're at that point. And I would be concerned without the county doing this, the sustainability and long-term future for Infinity and Strider. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Legislator DeJoy, you were next.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I too have some extensive experience with this building and development in general in downtown Jamestown, having been awarded the first downtown revitalization initiative back in 2016. And again, Jamestown has been fortunate to been awarded again with an excellent submission. With that comes local planning committee that will be assembled and will be evaluating and looking at various projects and investments in downtown Jamestown. I too learned about this because it wasn't brought to the Economic Planning and Economic Development Committee. I admit that I wasn't there. I was on my return trip from a vacation down south, and I tried the best I could to get there. But nevertheless, it wasn't on the agenda, and I knew nothing about it till I read about it in the paper. So we've heard from Infinity tonight. We've heard from Striders. We've heard from Jamestown City Council members. We saw in the Post-Journal and Dunkirk Observer. We've heard from leasees of the building to basically pump the brakes. And what I've suggested, and I've suggested it to yourself and to the leadership, that perhaps we pause this. I'm not so sure it's the wrong place yet, but I'm not so sure it's the right place. I've looked at all of these things. I've worked with Benderson Development in the past in my previous job. And you know what? I think this has been pushed through much too quickly. There's not an urgent need right now to do this tonight. I'd like to make a motion that we, one, do two things. That the county executive and perhaps yourself set up a bipartisan committee or commission to look at it with officials from City of Jamestown that are going to be involved in the redevelopment of downtown Jamestown. Members of the legislature, members of the Jamestown Renaissance Corporation, the Gebbe Foundation, all those stakeholders that need to voice their concerns and look at the best possible alternative for downtown Jamestown and for Chautauqua County and for the taxpayers. So I'd like to make a motion that one, set up this committee, and two, that bring it back to our respective committees for recommendations, to hear what they have to say, and any amended proposals from the developers. And I appreciate Legislator Gustafson making those amendments. Striders and Infinity have been very important to me, and they were important during the development of the Lynn building, which made it a success. And I know Gary Lynn, and he was a very devout Christian, and he did this for those very reasons, that trying to help the youth and those that aren't advantaged in the city of Jamestown and southern Chautauqua County with those programs. So I respectfully would like to propose that motion tonight to form this committee and bring it back to respective committees.
Legislator DeJoy, there's two separate actions that you're proposing. One is to amend the resolution, and the second is to refer it back to committee.
Well, I don't have any specific amendments other than to, I guess my request, the motion is to, I guess there are two actions. One, establish a committee or commission, and two, send it back to committee and not vote on it tonight, because I think there are far too many questions we've heard from the public, and I think there's no reason that we shouldn't try to pump the brakes rather than ram this through tonight.
Okay, so which of those proposals would you like to take first? Your proposal to establish a committee, or your proposal to refer to the resolution to committee?
I guess what makes logical sense is to establish a stakeholder committee to look at this entire project. As Legislator Larson said, it's a 10-year commitment here. We're going to be committing $13 million over 10 years. And you know, it's going to have a long-term effect in downtown Jamestown. So I think that there should be a local committee that looks at it, bipartisan, members of the legislature, members of Chautauqua County Planning and Economic Development, you know, be a true stakeholder, kind of like the local planning committee will be for the Downtown Revitalization Initiative.
Okay, so if I may take the opportunity to phrase your proposed motion, you're moving to establish a committee of the community to review this resolution.
The resolution and all all potential alternatives, and
Right,
determine if this is the right.
Right, we're
the right
discussing
one.
this resolution at the
Yeah.
time, so is that adequate?
Yeah, that's adequate.
Okay, so we have a motion to that effect. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a second by Legislator Whitney. Discussion on the motion to establish a committee to discuss this project. Legislator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the county executive's effort to keep the building in Jamestown, in the city, and the amendments that were made tonight. I think those were good, important changes that were necessary. As I sit here and we listen to all kinds of speakers, I've learned more about it in the last couple hours than I knew earlier today. And I think what more will we learn in the next 30 days? So I would agree. I think that we need more time to look at this. So I think Legislator DeJoy's idea has merit. I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Other comments on the motion to establish the committee? Any other comments on the motion to establish the committee? Then, sorry, Olivia, would you call the roll, please, on the motion to establish the committee?
Mr. Anthony,
No.
Mr. Bankowski,
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan,
Yes.
Mr. DeJoy,
Yes.
Mrs. Gustafson,
No.
Mr. Harmon,
No.
Mr. Heiser,
No.
Mr. Johnson is absent, Mr. Larson,
Yes.
Miss Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Merritt is absent, Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Pavlock,
No.
Mr. Penhollow,
No.
Mr. Proctor,
No.
Mr. Scudder,
No.
Miss Vanstrom,
No.
Mr. Whitney,
Yes.
Chairman Shagnon.
No.
Okay. There are 7 yes votes, 10 no votes, and 2 members absent. the motion to form a committee fails.
Mr. Chairman.
Legislator DeJoy, you had a second item that you wanted to propose?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I propose that we send this back to committee for further review and analysis.
Okay, we have a motion to refer Resolution 202-26 back to committee.
Second.
Do I have a second by Legislator Whitney? Discussion on the motion to refer. Legislator Larson.
A point of information, if our budget director could come back to the microphone. To indicate how difficult it is in 9 days to get a handle on a 10-year, $14 million commitment. The document that you indicated you prepared shows in 2028, the out-of-pocket lease payments to the developer by the county is $1,275,000.
Yes.
You reported on local share in answer to an earlier question.
Yes.
But the rent is projected to be $1,275,000. The rent where we are currently, with an arbitrary 4% increase, which I take it is not in any current lease, is $1,023,000.
Correct.
So that's 250. That's $250,000 more in gross rental than current leases, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you were then saying, well, when you take out the reimbursements, given actions, particularly in Washington, with the chainsaw, are these federal reimbursements guaranteed beyond one budget year?
I'm not entirely sure how those reimbursements are structured with those.
Reimbursements from the state of New York, are they more than one budget year commitments? In other words,
I cannot speak to that. I don't know.
Well, all right. I can speak to this. The $1,275,000 would be an obligation of ours in that lease, regardless of how much reimbursement we get.
Correct.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You're welcome. Other questions, comments on the motion to refer the resolution back to committee? Hearing none, would the clerk please call the roll on the motion to refer?
Mr. Anthony,
No.
Mr. Bankowski,
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan,
Yes.
Mr. DeJoy,
Yes.
Mrs. Gustafson,
No.
Mr. Harmon,
Nope.
Mr. Heiser,
No.
Mr. Johnson is absent, Mr. Larson,
Yes.
Miss Lewis,
Yes.
Mr. Merritt is absent, Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Pavlock,
No.
Mr. Penhollow,
No.
Mr. Proctor,
No.
Mr. Scudder,
No.
Miss Vanstrom,
No.
Mr. Whitney,
Yes.
Chairman Shagnon.
No.
Okay, there are 7 yes votes, 10 no votes, and 2 members absent. The motion to refer to committee fails.
Okay, so we're back to resolution 202-26 as presented. Further questions, comments on the resolution? Legislator Vanstrom.
Yes, I just want to remind this room that during committee week, when this was introduced and brought up and presented and unveiled more, it passed unanimously. Unanimously. And I understand why it did, because it's a very good resolution. Sometimes a shoe doesn't fit perfectly, but it's a perfect fit. So there's been a lot of discussion about this. There's been a lot of consideration. There's been a lot of properties looked at, a lot. And they weren't chosen for a multitude of reasons. And I know there's people sitting in this room that know what I'm talking about. Not one little reason, a lot. So I'm going to support this as amended by my colleague, Mrs. Gustafson. Thank you.
Legislator DeJoy.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, it's obvious that this legislature doesn't give a darn about what an organization that helps and supports kids in music and arts, doesn't care about mentoring with striders, doesn't care about the opinion of the Jamestown City Council members, doesn't care about the city of Jamestown and their downtown development initiatives that will be looked at, doesn't care what our local media feel about pumping the brakes, doesn't care about taxpayers likely being on the hook for an additional amount of lease money. To me, it stinks of hubris and a rubber stamp. And I'm ashamed that there wasn't even one person that said, let's go back and look at this. I haven't even seen this for 1 week, and you're going to make this momentous decision. I think that it's shameful, quite frankly, and I'm extremely disappointed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Other comments, questions?
I'm speaking out of turn, and I apologize for that. However, for $14 million and to save Infinity, granted that South County office building has had its moment, going to the
No
new
one
building is not the best. For $14 million, we could build a brand new one now, as mentioned before by Larson before. There's a great place near Big Lots. It's
Please.
a green field, but thank you.
Legislator Anthony.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Last Monday, I was the chair for public facilities when this was first presented to the legislative bodies, committees. I was shocked, blown away. There was a lot of questions to be answered. And Mr. Russo and his team answered questions when asked. Our finance department answered questions when asked. I've been on the phone with multiple committee members almost every day for the last week. I have talked with County Executive Wendell. I have talked with Mayor Eklund. I had conversations today at noon, 6 hours before this meeting, as to where we were, what we were going to do, because this is a huge leap, huge step. 2 years ago, County Executive invited the legislatures on a tour of our office buildings to see what our county employees work in every day, but not only what our county employees work in, but the buildings that are used to serve the residents of Chautauqua County and what they are paying for. And I use the example of walking through mental health in the South County office building and the lights being off because it's too hot. One of the questions I asked during committee was, what's going to happen when it's 95 degrees again, stagnant air, and we have 100 employees sitting in a building unproductively doing work, serving the people of Chautauqua County? We'll take it a step back. These gentlemen are the landlords to the DMV in Dunkirk, and we had discussed it earlier as to why we haven't heard of Mr. Russo. And the reason that we haven't heard of Mr. Russo is because that's the exceptional service that we've been provided as tenants to the North County facilities, which is spectacular. I don't want to hear of issues in our county offices. I have talked with employees that work between multiple offices, and they had obviously voiced the concerns of cockroaches and the issues that we have heard tonight, which I know that I certainly would not want to work in those conditions. And I give them credit for showing up every day and caring about the job that they are there to do. I thank them sincerely. I thanked our budget director when I got here today for getting us our numbers. By Monday afternoon, as I was on my way home, I was comparing numbers just before I called Mayor Eklund. It's taken a lot. I get that this is not a lot of time to digest, but the phones have been there to call people. They've been willing to talk. They've been willing to listen and answer questions. And with any business deal, there's always going to be questions that are unanswered. But regardless whether we renegotiate a lease in the 3 buildings that we occupy in the city of Jamestown, or if we move into the Lynn building, we are going to be on the hook for the lease agreements, whether the reimbursements come back or not. And that's a fact that we need to face as this legislative body. And it's been a goal of this body to be one-stop shop for my 3 years, and I would love to see it come to fruition. And unfortunately, increases are going to come whether we like it or not in a negotiation. And what those may be, we never know.
Mr. Chairman.
It's part of business, but thank you.
Legislator Lewis.
Thank you. So as a SUNY or a state employee for over 30 years, the one thing that I was concerned about is, and the Human Services Committee was not unanimous in voting for it, the request for proposals. It was just standard business that we have something to compare with, especially if you're dealing with a multi-million-dollar and multi-year decisions. I know you said there was a lot of information, but during my session, I could use more to see and have other people chime in to see if they can present us with something as well. We have time. As I understand that the lease is not up until next year, late year. So I did not understand the urgency. I too would not want to work in a horrible environment. And maybe there is something we can do in the meantime to address those kinds of issues. But to spend this amount of money and to commit ourselves for 10 years without looking at other options, I think is waste of our taxpayers' money.
Legislator Whitney.
I have 2 points of interest. Number one, we never heard from the developers that said, this is such a great deal, we're buying the building. It was all dependent on, I guess, their vote tonight. They never said they're going to buy the building no matter what. And point number two is, once again, I said it earlier, rush, 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 take the test, you can study for it next week. And we've done it again.
Legislator DeJoy.
Mr. Anthony, I think it's a non sequitur argument about the current conditions. I agree that something needs to be done. That's all I asked was a reasonable thing, to just give us some more time. I read about this again in the Post Journal, same as many others. And it wasn't brought to the committee that I'm in. I wasn't there, but nevertheless, I didn't see anything about it. And in terms of Mayor Eklund, I had conversations with her all this weekend, and her quote was, "Yes, Vince, please help with that." And help with that meant slowing down this process, and especially the issue of parking. I don't know how many buildings that you have helped to redevelop anywhere, or any economic development that you've been directly involved in, but I have done it, and I've done it for this building. I know what the heck I'm talking about here, and we just needed more time. But obviously the legislature doesn't, the majority doesn't feel that that's appropriate. So again, I think that was a non sequitur argument that, that they're enduring these conditions because something can and should be done, and there's likely some better alternatives. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
The way this was put together was an opportunity.
Excuse me, Jeff. If you would like to request an opportunity to speak to the legislature, I will grant that after the legislature has an opportunity to speak.
Thank you, I'm sorry.
Legislator Larson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Out of our 1,200 or so county employees, we have long had a distinguished county planning department. Longtime planner, John Lunsman. We have an overlook named after him, appropriately so. I knew John Lunsman, worked with John Lunsman. It's inconceivable to me that our current planning department has not been asked to look at this proposed location, this proposed project, and give an analysis. Have you received any such thing, Mr. Chairman, from our planning department?
I have not.
Thank you.
Okay, any other comments, questions on the resolution as amended? Legislator Proctor.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, thank you. I know this was introduced last week to our committees, and I did take the time to talk to several employees, mostly our public facilities who, I know they've been looking at other properties and other situations. The Chautauqua Mall was mentioned for 4 years or somewhere around there. I know this lease has been worked on for several months. We have another year left, and that year will go by very quickly. There's a lot to do to move three buildings into one, and all these departments and all the stuff that needs to be done. This building is for sale. It's going to be for sale to somebody. The existing leases will be under the tenure of another landlord. We don't know who that landlord might be. If Mr. Russa and Benderson Development don't buy this, it could be somebody else, and we could be having the same discussion with Striders and Infinity and the other tenants. We know who Mr. Russa is. As Mr. Anthony alluded to, we currently have property with him in the North County, the DMV, and we've had a very good relationship with him. So, in my opinion, I'd rather do business with somebody I'm familiar with and someone who we've had very good relationship with, and I think we do need to act on this now because of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments, questions on the resolution? Legislator Scudder.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Monday night, or a week ago Monday night, we were presented with this in committee. And to be honest with you, I lost sleep that night. It was overwhelming. There was a lot of stuff coming at us. I regrouped. I had the good fortune of also being on audit and control. And the county executive came to our meeting, answered some questions. The developers answered a lot of questions. We had opportunities. As far as the urgency goes, a decision has to be made. We're never going to get all of our questions answered. And forgive me, it's kind of an excuse. Well, I didn't get all my answers. What color is the roof going to be? I don't know. But it's time to move forward. This has been looked at. We just assume that the county hasn't looked at anything. They have. I know that this is kind of just a general lease right now. There's a lot of details to be worked out. We're just approving the lease to go forward. I'm going to vote in favor of this as a legislator, not as a Republican legislator. I have never voted in my career, 17 years. How's that, Fred?
Close.
No, it's longer. As the longest serving active legislator, I have never voted with a letter after my name other than L for legislature. I've been accused, because you vote the other way, that you're voting with your party. You can ask my party. I have never voted with my party. I have voted as a legislator in Chautauqua County. But if we're going to play the partisan game, in committee, we had 4 Democrats vote in favor of this. Now, we don't have enough answers or questions answered. We don't have enough. But it's going to be very interesting when it comes time to vote, how many Democrats vote for this, that voted for it in committee. And I know we have more questions, but to me, that sounds like an excuse. And I also have the misfortune of representing 127,000 people in Chautauqua County, which is more than just the city of Jamestown. With all due respect, they're also citizens of the county, but we have to represent everyone. I feel a vote for this tonight, it gets us moving on. I think it's the right direction, and all of my questions have been answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Legislator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As you know, Bob, I was one of those Democrats that voted for it in committee. Walked away with some questions. I had more questions tonight that were answered, and some I was satisfied with, some not. The amendments I appreciate that were added. I think those were good ideas. I wanted to go back to what Legislator DeJoy said as far as giving this another 30 days. I've learned a lot in the last couple of days. What more could we learn in the next 30? And then make that decision. As far as it stands tonight, this checks a lot of boxes, and I'm glad it's in this city. And I'll tell you up front, I will support it. Thank you.
Thank you. Other comments? Legislator Pavlik.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Serving on this legislature for some time, the decision in front of us tonight is an important one. As it's been stated, we are considering entering a 10-year lease, but realistically, it's 20, 30 years. I want the basis of my decision being made upon, looked at by others down the road, my children, other legislators down the road, other county employees. I extensively did some research since learning of this potential lease. I called people, I've studied things, I've looked at numbers, and most importantly, my decision tonight is based upon what Legislator Penhall opened the meeting with, is a prayer that we can have wise decisions, and my decision is based on that. So I'll be supporting this tonight.
Thank you. Other comments, questions? With the permission of the legislature, I would then invite Jeff, representing the developer, if he would like to speak. If you would, please come down to the microphone. I'm not requiring you to speak. I was trying to respond to your outburst earlier.
I apologize for my outburst earlier. There's a lot of different things that are happening in regards to how the lease. Want me to get to the microphone?
Please. If you would like to be heard, please step up to the microphone.
First of all, I want to apologize for the outburst. I'm passionate about this. And we spent a lot of time doing what we need to do, what's right. And there's a lot of different things that have come into the picture because of timing, and we've expressed time is of the essence because of multiple reasons. And I think the most important reason is what we heard from the employee that works there on a daily basis with the employees at the existing location. That makes me even more passionate. We are able, because of the vacancy in the building, to be able to do things in phases. And we're able to bring in different departments more sooner than later if it's required. And I think those are the kinds of things that the body doesn't know about. We want to be able to express every single benefit. And I mean the word benefit. The one concept that I brought to Joe Russo was, don't forget to do a load factor. When you do square footage, you have to do a load factor. He said, I'm not going to do that. Whatever the square footage is that we rent to the county, that's what we're going to charge them for. That's the kind of people that you're dealing with. And we're very sensitive in regards to striders. We're very sensitive to infinity. We will deal with all the tenants on a very professional level going forward. That's our commitment. That's what we all need to think about. I don't work for Benderson Development. I did work for Benderson for almost 40 years. I was nurtured in a very good way when I started there at 29 to understand that tenants are customers. They're not only customers, but they're people. Try to satisfy needs because that's what makes the difference in a good landlord and a bad landlord. That's the reason why I brought up what I brought up earlier. And I really appreciate this extra time. Thank you for your time, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Then at this time, I would ask the clerk to call the roll on Resolution 202-26 as amended.
Mr. Anthony,
Yes.
Mr. Bankowski,
Yes.
Mr. Buchanan,
No.
Mr. DeJoy,
No.
Mrs. Gustafson,
Yes.
Mr. Harmon,
Yes.
Mr. Heiser,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson is absent, Mr. Larson,
No.
Miss Lewis,
No.
Mr. Merritt is absent, Mr. Nelson,
Yes.
Mr. Pavlock,
Yes.
Mr. Penhollow,
Yes.
Mr. Proctor,
Yes.
Mr. Scudder,
Yes.
Miss Vanstrom,
Yes.
Mr. Whitney,
No.
Chairman Shagnon.
Yes.
Okay, there are 12 yes votes, 5 no votes, and 2 members absent. The resolution is adopted.
And that brings us finally to announcements. Are there any announcements by any legislators for the good of the order? Legislator Gustafson.
Yes, I would like to invite everybody to the Chautauqua County Airport on Saturday, August 29th. It's actually the rain date for the Fly-In Drive-In fundraiser for the Alan D. Fuller Memorial Flying Scholarship. There will be rides from Whiskey 7. There will be a car show, and I invite everyone up to the airport to join in.
Thank you. Other announcements? Legislator Nelson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would invite everybody to the Lucille Ball Comedy Festival, August 6th through the 9th. And there's too many events to even start here, but I hope to see you there.
Okay, thank you. Other announcements? Legislator Bankowski.
Yes, I'd like to, on behalf of myself and Legislator Scudder, we'd like to invite you to the Dunkirk Airport this weekend for the Rotary Club Fly-In Breakfast.
Come one, come all.
He will be serving pancakes.
Oh, it changed my mind then. Thank you. Legislator Buchanan, did you have your hand up?
Well, I thought he was gonna mention Chautauqua County Fair, but he didn't, so I'd like to invite everyone down. It was a nice ceremony. I was chosen to light the cannon. And I'm not sure if I blame it on the weather, so. But it was a great experience, so I'll just want to invite everyone out. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Other announcements? Legislator Proctor.
I'd like to invite everybody to Sherman, August 1st for Sherman Days. A lot of fun, a lot of vendors, parade. Come on down to Sherman. Thanks.
Oh, a lot going on. Any other announcements? Hearing none, we will move then to our second privilege of the floor. Members of the public may comment on any subject. A member of the legislature may speak on any subject. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes, and comments representing a group shall be limited to 5 minutes. Is there someone already interested in speaking to the second privilege of the floor? Please introduce yourself.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members, ladies and gentlemen of the legislature. My name is Nancy Barger. I live at 11 West Terrace Avenue in Lakewood. I want to thank you as a member of the board of the Robert H. Jackson Center for coming here this evening. And I know that Legislator Larson and I think Terry Frank may be the reporter, may be the only two people here this evening with the institutional memory that, where is Kristen? I think she may, are you here? Okay, so I just have to set the record straight that as your colleague mentioned a second ago, the county fair has opened, I believe, yesterday. And it was something that we did at least twice, maybe more, during the 10 years that I was a member of your body. We met during the week of the county legislature, or excuse me, the county fair going on. We met at the fairgrounds in Dunkirk. So there is a precedent for leaving Mayville. And we also met at the Linnae Hall at Chautauqua Institution during their 9-week season. And I know that because I sponsored that move. But I also wanted to comment that it's such a pleasure to be in this audience and see your faces. And I'm sure you're aware of the fact that in the Mayville Chambers, we always had our backs to the public. And I think it's a real difficult thing. The audio is fantastic here, and I heard every word of everything that was said. But most of all, I believe it's very important to see faces. And so I think I've covered everything I wanted to. I think there was some understanding that not only the nonprofits in the move that you just made should be considered, but I do have some business with Saxton Accounting Firm, and I know you will treat that business with respect. I think that's it. Thank you for being here. Come back.
Nancy, thank you for supporting the decision to be here. Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the second privilege of the floor?
Good evening. My name is Doug Scotchmer. I live at 19 Woodrick Avenue in Jamestown, New York. It was my privilege to work as a mental health counselor for 30 years for the county. And more recently, I've become the representative for the 4th Ward in Jamestown, which overlaps with Mr. Whitney's district and Ms. Gustafson's district. Kind of on to a completely different topic tonight, what I came to talk about. When I campaigned for my position, I went door to door, talked with a lot of people, and major concerns that people talked about were housing stock and the, excuse me, and the issue of homelessness. After getting into my position, I've talked with staff from the City Department of Development. I was encouraged to see that the county put in a homeless program that's now on the 3rd floor of City Hall. And in talking with staff there, I learned that the people that they work with need to be on Medicaid or food stamps or somehow linked in with social services already. And what I've heard from both city staff and from county staff, what we're lacking is outreach to the homeless. We're kind of going with a scattered program of volunteers. Other agencies have had their budgets cut for outreach worker. I know for the office located in City Hall, they have a person that comes in 2 days a week that can do outreach. One of the things in my time at mental health that I really saw change was when I started out, we were primarily therapists, doctors. We had one case manager who was split between Jamestown and Dunkirk. One of the offices that you're looking at moving is in the old Jamestown Radiology Building because we have developed so many, now they're called care coordinators, not case managers, that they needed their own office space because they couldn't be housed with us on the 5th floor of City Hall. We need to develop more outreach for the homeless, for people who aren't necessarily connected to the system in any way in order to do a more effective job. And I heard lots of concerns when I campaigned, but the housing stock and the homeless issue were by far and away the 2 most important issues I heard constituents saying. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the second privilege of the floor? Legislator Larson.
My constituents have a right to know why I voted against the new home of the South County offices. The chairman called for the vote. Nobody had called the question. So I didn't have the chance to explain then, but I will now. It's two reasons. One, there's been no request for proposals for county office space in Jamestown to the many respectable, responsible developers in Western New York. Secondly, there's no plan for our county offices in the city of Jamestown from our own planning department. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the second privilege of the floor?
Thank you. Scott Axelson, 402 Park Street, Jamestown. I was at a meeting last month where a member of the legislature spoke to a group of private citizens and we asked questions about various topics in the county, the big contingency fund, the lake, things like that, consolidations. But the lake was an issue that I made sure I wanted to come to tonight. If you see Chautauqua Gazette last week, what did it say? The aquatic economic engine. 5 local lakes and a few facts. You got Bear Lake, you got Castanega Lake, you've got Lake Erie, Chautauqua Lake, and I'm missing one.
Finley.
Sorry. Finley Lake, thank you. Economic drivers. We always hear that 28% of the taxes for this county come from Chautauqua Lake. When I was asking a question of the legislator person who doesn't live along the lake, and there are 5 legislative districts that directly border the lake, and then the city of Jamestown has the Chautauqua, the outlet, and now they're trying to do more development of the basin down behind the comedy center to make it part of the waterfront. So you really have Jamestown directly involved, although they don't technically touch the lake. And the question I asked was, how are you voting, or what do you think about it? And the answer was, I don't know enough about the issues with Chautauqua Lake to be able to answer those questions. Now, if anybody reads the Post Journal, goes to a meeting for CLA, CLP, the Chautauqua Lake Property Owners Association, they'd be very well knowing what's going on, and that might influence how they are able to be much better at voting or asking questions and how to spend money on resources. And that same person also told me that another legislator in the neighboring district was of the same thought. We're just going to vote along with what the rest of our group says. So it really concerns me that this major economic engine, a couple miles away from here, you're not taking enough time to really understand what is going on with the problems of the lake, the history. And anyone who reads the Post Journal, the Dunkirk Observer, and just stays up on some of this information that's being presented all the time, should be able to at least either, if they don't know, go to one of these groups when they have their seminars or they have their open public hearings. And we know there'll be some more on Labor Day up in Bemis. But how can you vote on stuff you don't even understand? And it's not like this information is not available to everybody out there. I read the paper, I hear things on the news, WJTN, Terry Frank presents stuff. But 28% comes from, of our our taxes comes from the lake. So I would think that you would all want to be a little more up to speed before making some decisions. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the second privilege of the floor?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
I've been waiting all night to say, come on
Oh,
down.
I'm sorry.
No,
No, ladies, please.
Oh, no, I'm gonna have to adjust this. There, can you hear me?
Yes.
I am Andrea Hatfield. I live at 72 Siebert Street, Jamestown, New York. First off, I'd like to make a little comment about the decision about the South County office building. I would like to see a write-up maybe some basic bare bones write-up of how you came to that decision. I'm a taxpayer. My county taxes are going to pay for this rent. And I know if I even have somebody come over for a couple $100 worth of work on my house, I get quotes and proposals and look at them. And I think that might put some fears to rest if we have a better idea of what the logic was behind this. Another thing I would like to mention as an aside is I know the concern is with Strider and Infinity being in the same building as some other people, it's concerning. Would the developer be able to offer a better or location for Striders and Infinity that would help develop 2 sites in Jamestown? It's just a challenge to think about. Thinking about, would it benefit the community? Would it benefit the developer, the city? Could we expand and develop more sites as a compromise to deal with some of the issues of using that particular building? Now, my next topic is quite different. It has to do with the wildfire smoke that we experienced this past week. We have plans in place for blizzards and floods. Is there any kind of county or city plan in place to deal with wildfire smoke? Because I do believe this will probably be a recurring, if not an annual event. I'm thinking of people, you probably drove by some of the brick buildings, apartment buildings on your way here. Picture somebody 3rd, 4th floor, and the only thing between them and 90-degree weather is a window and a box fan, and then the smoke rolls in. We were at well above 300, which is hazardous, especially for young kids. So do we have a plan? Do we have notification? Education about what's dangerous levels, education about what filters work, don't work. A lot of people said, oh, I've got an air conditioner. Well, that flimsy little filter is not going to help. Maybe providing no and low cost air purifiers or having some sort of plan in place and actually having breathing space in communities, a place where people can go to if they need to get out of the smoke. May not ever need to use it, but I think we ought to think about it because we're pretty much at the mercy of whichever way the wind blows. This is going to be a long-term issue, I think, in Canada. The other thing.
You exceeded your 3 minutes.
Oh, I should be all done?
Yep.
Oh, darn, because I had one more big thing that tied into downtown. So I guess I'll hand it to you in person.
Okay, thank you. Legislator Buchanan, you were interested?
Okay, you can use a minute of mine. Okay. Well, while I was at home getting dressed before the meeting, I heard some devastating news up here in the city of Jamestown, outside a hospital, and I see no one spoke on it today. I'm not going to speak on it either. But I just want to say prayers to all of those that was involved. My heart goes out to them and their family. And I'm looking forward to some of our county services people reaching out to these people as soon as possible. And I'm not going to share that news here. I'm sure everyone's going to find out later. That's it.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address
Mr.
the
Chairman,
second privilege of the floor?
I just had one
DeJoy.
quick thing, and I wanted to address our last speaker, Andrea, correct?
Yes.
So next Monday night, there's going to be a meeting at the Prendergast Library. It's a countywide resiliency plan public meeting. And we're just starting to look at this plan, county planning and other community stakeholders. Crystal will probably be there too, I'm sure. But I think that's something that I honestly hadn't thought about when it comes to resiliency is, this thick smoke, and I'm not sure what could be done about it, but I think it should be something that's addressed in this county resiliency plan. So I just wanted to let you know that it's Monday night, 5:30 at the Prendergast Library.
Thank you. Anyone else to address the second privilege of the floor? Kristen, you're back.
I am back. Kristen McMahon, president of the Robert H. Jackson Center. I want to remind everyone that all of our programs are free and open to the public all the time, as is the building. We charge for nothing here. And I want to invite you all to our next program, which is this Friday at 6 p.m. It is Who Decides What Justice Looks Like, with the former special prosecutor for the crime of aggression. Her name is Jessica Kim. So please do join us.
Thank you. Anthony, it must be your turn.
Good evening, Anthony Toda. My address is 144 Clifton Avenue, Jamestown, New York. I'm making my comments and opinions based upon, I think I got the wrong, here it is, based on media reports. I am continuing to produce substantial evidence in the capital murder case of U.S. versus Peyton Genren, which is in the United States District Court, Buffalo, Judge Lawrence J. Villardo presiding. The case involves the top slaughter in 2022. I am continuing to obtain evidence showing that FBI, including the Buffalo field office, headed by SACman Philip Tejera, is at least negligent and possibly was aware of Peyton Genren's intent to allegedly murder at this top site in advance of the shootings. Recently, I made Sonia Zoglin, a U.S. public defender for the case, aware of the FBI Buffalo office is intercepting my phone calls to Ms. Zoglin concerning this capital case. However, Ms. Zoglin, along with the U.S. attorney, refuses to accept my exculpatory evidence in violation of federal case of Brady versus Maryland in an effort to show a shared responsibility by the FBI. Further, in my own action in the same federal court against the New York State DMV in the city of Jamestown, the same Buffalo FBI office intercepted a call I made to the town of Ellicott Police to look for a defendant in my own action. I am going to continue to publicly state these human rights violations by the FBI upon myself until these perpetrators, including SACman Tejera, the Public Defender's Office, the U.S. Attorney's Office in Buffalo, are held accountable for these violations. In the meantime, the FBI is conspiring with the Jamestown police to use noise harassments and an old federal government torture practice in an attempt to entrap myself. There is a shared responsibility by the FBI failing to prevent this terrible tragedy at the Buffalo Top site, a responsibility that has been ignored by Governor Kathy Hochul and U.S. Attorney General Letitia James. And I just want to say one thing. We're in a forum where a person who is historically famous for the protection of constitutional human rights and, as everybody talks about, the rule of law. That has not been applied to me. In fact, I've been oppressed in the very city where this forum exists. And that's a terrible hypocrisy regarding the human rights in a city that is supposed to be championing that through this particular institution. Thank you.
Thank you.
Move we adjourn, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn by Legislator Larson, a second by Legislator Bankowski. All in favor, please say aye. And we're adjourned.